Good evening, Speed Gaming 6. Welcome to another race in the Pass Combo Randomizer Tournament. This is a Group H matchup between the winners of the group so far. CassidyMoen took out Biohazard 8224, and 64-Bit Link took out Break Jake. And the winner of this match will move on. We'll play whoever wins between the other two folks. I'm joined tonight by Chad Ron. How you doing tonight, Chad?
I'm doing okay. We should be a good match here, but both of these runners are very experienced. 64-Bit Link, while he came in as a 2 seed, was one of the higher 2 seeds in the tournament.
Yeah, I would have actually suspected he was the 1 seed.
Yeah, so this should be a fairly, competitive match, I would assume.
And we should be getting underway in just a second here. Our runners will have the same choice to make that every SMZ3 race has. Do they go to Link the Past, or do they go for the Morph Ball?
And then the secondary question, do they start at Sanctuary or do they start at Link's house?
For anyone who's tuning in who is wondering what the heck they're about to watch, you are about to watch a combination of Super Metroid and A Link to the Past, the two franchise entries from the Super Nintendo for those particular franchises, mashed up into one and randomized. So there's 4 places in each game that will take you to a select spot in the other game. And then we take all the items between the two, like missiles, and randomize them so you can find Super Metroid missiles in Swamp Palace, for example. As we see, we're underway, and our runners will most likely both be going to Legend of Zelda. There's only one item in Logic in Super Metroid at the start, but there's a whole lot in Zelda. And I saw a red pendant there on each.
Oh, and there's a Bombos medallion on Lake Hylia Island. So we may very well need to come and get that once we have the flippers in the mirror.
That could be entrance to one of the Missouri Meyer Turtle Rock. It could also be entrance to Ice Palace.
Yes, we'll have to see what happens there. And let's see. 64-Bit Link is going to the uncle, while Cassidy is started at the Sanctuary and is instead going to take the north route into Kakariko.
Worth pointing out that 64-Bit Link got a large magic decanter on his tree pole, so that's pretty easily accessible full magic anytime they need.
Yeah, that's a very nice thing to know is available to you. And was that a sword at Aga?
I think that was a sword.
Okay. So there's a good chance we will not actually end up getting that particular sword upgrade. At least the runners are very likely to try and avoid that if at all possible.
Yeah, given the caliber of skill. Ooh, there's Daria suit in the mushroom spot.
That's very important. That's one of the items that will be logically required, and while runners may be able to avoid it, they are certainly going to want to have it over not having it.
And I was just going to say that given the skill level of these runners, I think it's unlikely they would do Aga just for a sword, but if Aga ends up being required, you might see them go and get that sword event. That said, that could be logically our first sword, so that puts a lot of things up in
My first sword, no, but it could be our logical second sword.
Oh, right, you need to cut some curtains in Agus Tower. And Cassidy's buying some bombs here. Meanwhile, 64-bit Link is checking out his Lost Wood.
To be getting his Varia soon.
Cassidy doing a little bit of unusual routing here, heading over to Eastern Pal. It's uncommon to do these checks before Kakariko, but certainly a case can be made that you should do it for here. It saves you time. Green Pendant Thieves Town. Some sticks, some bombs, and some super missiles. Not what you're looking for out of Slash Rock.
Yeah, that doesn't really reward the coming over here that early, but we'll see what Eastern has.
Interesting that 64-bit Link looks like he might be making the same exact play.
Yeah, and I saw that from one of the racers earlier today, so maybe this is a new developing meta.
Cassidy's heading into Eastern. We'll see what we can get. Obviously, Eastern not completable. We don't have a bow. And we also don't have a lamp to get one of the later chests. I'm curious if this is a decision for one of these runners based on scouting. If, for example, this is something Cassidy does all the time in 64-bit Link, notice that and said, I don't want to lose because I didn't do Eastern. I have to try to remember asking that in the interview in 4 hours.
Yeah, well, we definitely will need to ask about this particular routing start. They both did the exact same. Oh, but 64-bit Link is not actually doing Eastern, just stopped at the Slasher Hollows hut.
Well, so far out of Eastern, all we've seen that's interesting is an energy tank, which they're nice to have, but they're not really progressive.
Yeah, they're good early, but particularly since they already have the Varia suit, it's not as urgent of a need as might be otherwise.
64-bit Link is heading over to Kakariko via the south. He's got plenty of bombs to bomb up and everything he needs. Checking the race game, into the race game, we've got power bombs. I would not be surprised to see him pick them.
Yeah, I mean this early, it's a risky thing. You know, you can spend the time to go there. You know that later in the siege you'll have more than enough power bombs that it's not a big deal. But early on, those may be one of the few packs of power bombs you have available to you.
Speaking of a big deal, cassidymoen pulls Screw Attack out of the big chest at Eastern. That's going to make his Super Metroid life a lot easier.
Yes, but unfortunately, early on, before you have Morph Ball, that actually opens up several different checks in Super Metroid that are all kind of isolated.
That is true. Cassidy makes it through the dark rooms while Link is checking out the chicken hut. Chicken's just hanging on to some gold. Well, rupees. I guess it's not really gold. Just pulling the map out of the
Eastern
big
not
key chest.
really providing anything particularly useful. Other than the, Screw Attack is good, but we'll have to see whether or not that actually is progression or whether it's just a false lure.
So far, the well having really nothing of note. Well, Cassidy's giving us the check of the dam. Somebody left their bombs lying around in the dam. That sounds dangerous. Hyrule in the early 90s was apparently quite a dangerous place. And there's our morph ball in Blind's basement.
Well, that's a very good thing to find. Cassidy will likely come back and do Kakariko Village before heading into Super Metroid. So that Screw Attack is just going to be a positive for her.
I'd really like to see Link go get those power bombs. I think the decision to skip them was not a...
Just a heart on Desert Ledge, so that's not something the runners are going to particularly care about.
You really want 3 packs of power bombs, at least in Super Metroid. That really makes it so you're not likely to get soft locked. And I mean, since they have none, I feel like picking up this one is a really good idea, and it looks like he is going to go back and get it.
That does make sense, because you never know when you're going to get your first pack, and since he didn't find any in Kakariko Village, which is the biggest chunk of items available from the early game, particularly with that early morph ball, the sign probably going to need to go into Super Metroid sooner rather than later.
Cassidy checking out the South Shore. So I assume Cassidy was probably really hoping to find something like a flute or a box. So we'll see if Mini Moldorm Cave here has any of those items.
Yeah, I imagine that's why you would do the routing of putting out Kakariko Village, is just to be able to get the more efficient routing.
Oh, wow.
Hammer and high jump boots.
So definitely a solid amount of loot. I don't believe that's any progression per se at the moment, though.
Well, it is a progression in the sense that the high jump with the Varia gives access to Bubble Mountain.
Ah, good point.
The hammer, not quite so much yet, but it does give us one of the pieces we will need for Dark World.
Yep, I believe the hammer is required every seed, regardless. Yeah, because you can't get to Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, it's required because there are 4 dungeons that require the hammer to either get into them or to complete them. So you are always going to need at least one crystal dungeon that is hammer locked.
Link is on his direct ship, it looks like. And he's heading back. That's not a surprise. Doing fan and no E-tanks. That would be pretty nice. Yeah. Link's heading down to Retro Bryn. Quite a few item checks he can do down here. Although I think he's gonna have a power bomb problem. Oh, he's going to Red Bryn Store anyways, not Retro Bryn.
Yeah, probably he's looked at that Varia suit and figured that progression would be somewhere down in Norfair.
Plus,
So at the moment, without the high jump boots, he doesn't really have a way of doing a whole lot in Norfair yet.
Plus, he'll be able to farm up power bombs off the little caterpillar guys down here, so good to get back up to his 5.
Yep, and be able to get those couple checks down here at Alpha Power Bombs. Well, looks like one's just missiles and an E-tank. Well, that's good. Early on, it's nice to have a few E-tanks.
Yep, you can't beat the game without any energy tanks, so you do need to find. He's heading through what I feel like is the worst room in the game.
Once you're used to it, it's not so bad. It's one of those rooms you just have to practice so you don't jump too high.
Opting to head all the way down Red Tower. We'll check this Baser Beam location, I assume.
Looks like Cassidy is going to use the hut there at the southwestern corner of Kakariko to do a free bomb refill.
Interesting. Did a it's something you see very frequently in the combo randomizer. It's an easy way to get 225 rupees.
Yeah, it allows you to purchase bombs and pay off the bottle vendor really quickly without, needing to wait on farming bombs or farming money.
Link going on to check out Kraid. I would say Kraid is usually the first boss killed in the combo randomizer. He's really not difficult.
Yeah, very minimal requirements. You need Morph Ball. You need some way of getting through bombable walls, and that's pretty much it. And ammo.
Cassie's picking up his Morph Ball and moving. We'll see what his decision is next. Link getting a great quick kill. Very well done.
Cassidy's staying in Link to the Past for the moment. Looks like they're headed to escape. Oh no. Looks like, they haven't checked the uncle yet.
Yeah, they do have enough bombs. If they want to do bomb escape, they can. The dungeon is in logic.
They also have the hammer that they can use if they want
good
to
point.
do it that way.
Looks like Cassidy is going to go ahead and head into the castle dungeon.
Oh, and Super Metroid finally paying off with the Moon Pearl there at the Kraid E-Tank.
So we're looking for one more glove for our Dark World X.
Yep, and runners will be very happy to have to get away with avoiding Aga. Unless, of course, it should turn out that we just can't find any other sword upgrades than the one that's there on Lumberjack.
Charge beam, nice.
That's always a good item to find early because it means that you do not have to spend a lot of time hunting down ammo. You can just take what you need early on and then skip a lot of ammo checks in Super Metroid.
Yep, depending on your familiarity with Metroid as well, it lets you do things like pseudo screw attack, which when you have real screw attack is useless, but you can do X factors and things like that.
And should you course, get lucky and manage to find the X-ray scope and the plasma beam, it allows you to use the microwave strats against bosses like Batoon, Dragon, and Fantoon.
I did not see. What was that?
It was just a pack of supers. 64-bit Link deciding they do want those supers. Cassidy doing a death warp to go back to check out Dark Cross, I would assume.
Yep, Dark Cross not in logic, unless they found a lamp that I missed. Outside, this is a pretty common dark room for folks to know. Although it is worth pointing out that doing a dark room without a sword to tell where you are is really evocative.
Yeah, it looks like they're using the bombs that they have for that purpose.
Just a heart container, high jump boots.
Using that hammer to try and pound through those ropes.
So nothing of value at high jump boots.
Oh, and there's a
And I believe this
gravity
is
suit there
guaranteed to
at
be a
escape.
Yep, oh, heart piece, okay.
Art piece. Okay, well, that means that the back of escape is logically gloves locked. Meanwhile, 64-bit Link is giving us our first look at Death Mountain.
And Cassidy has reset back to Super Metroid.
And Blue Mail inside of Spectacle Rock. Link is going to go and pick that up.
Cassidy is going to go to the front of Gauntlet. You can see he turned off the high jump boots, which makes these wall jumps slightly easier. Link picks up that blue mail. Cassidy getting grabbed by the... oh, getting grabbed again. So the various suit will make this acid significantly less scary, but still with the limited amount of health Cassidy has, still very easy to die.
Yeah, this is not an in-logic check at the moment because they don't have a can fly or other way of logically getting up here. But it's a nice, convenient way to route this in now so they don't have to come back here again.
Cassidy getting to know those spikes on the top of the roof. Link's about to rescue the old man. We'll see what today's tip is. Just $20.
And nothing at the back of Gauntlet, just bombs and a missile pack.
Which I'm sure Cassidy is very thankful for, since they kind of messed up the
And heading back up towards the ship. I'm guessing they're going to check Bomb Chorizo and possibly 230 missiles.
Yeah, I would think this into Retro Brain is a likely route. 64-bit Link is going to Mini Mortar Cave. He'll be getting his hammer.
Yep. storms always just as trolly as their namesake.
They are definitely a chip off the old block. Link's heading over to check out the Ice Rod Cave, which we know didn't have anything of value. But well, you might as well check it while you're over here.
Cassidy almost skipped 230 missiles and then says, oh wait, I better get that.
Just not even worth the power bomb it costs. Oh, that was Sanctuary Heart at Ice Rod Cave.
And Cassidy does manage to get the ball. Just missiles at Old Mother Brain.
Which you'll see Cassidy use screw attack to get down to save a power.
Yeah, one nice thing about having screw attack is you can save a lot of time down here in Retro Bryn using that, for instance, to get up to Billy Mays and getting back out again as well. Yes, this is a winner's bracket match.
Cassidy is he, him. I looked it up.
And Link doing a fake flipper into Waterfall Cave. Not finding anything useful there.
The hookshot was at Alpha Missiles, it looks like. That's a big find for Cassidy.
And just a heart at Zora's Ledge. And Link does not have enough rupees to find out what Zora's lesson of the day is.
And we're about to see what's at Billy Mays. Magic powder, that's nice. And with some magic powder, one of the best Link to the Past safeties.
Indeed, it really is. And with the hammer, that actually gives them the ability to check the magic back. Link is going to head to Bubble Mountain with those high jump boots.
Yep, we'll see what's in the cathedral here first. We'll just the bomb capacity up. That's the Canis Samaria at Cathedral.
Yeah, that's an important find. Now, we don't know what the Dark World pendant layout is, but there's a very good chance that the Canis Samaria will be needed for either Misery Mire or Turtle Rock.
It's also just a great quality of life item. It makes doing several puzzles so much easier.
Indeed, and now with the Icebreaker clip, it makes Ice Palace a lot faster.
Just a heart container in the bottom of Bubble Mountain. Fisher Price Shield at the Charged Beam Missiles. 50 rupees at Charged Beam.
And Cassidy wants no part of either of those.
Response skip. Might need to scroll the screen over. Oh, nope.
There's a lot of different setups for getting that particular trip. Everyone has their own preferences for what they like to do.
Got an energy tank and speed booster. With a reserve tank outside. Energy tank at spore spawn. Cassidy heading up into the wave gate room has 11 missiles to get this with. That said, it is much easier to get this with the high jump.
Yeah, I think they forgot they had high jump for a second and tried to use the non-high jump method first. And there we find our actual first sword.
And either medallion in the wave gate room.
So that ether is not currently in logic because we do need the wave to put that in logic. But runners of this caliber are going to be able to pull off that trick. And space jump at Mission Impossible. Always very important to find.
So that is, aside from areas where I think gravity is needed, that's pretty much all of Super Metroid in logic. No Meridian, no Lower Norfair, but otherwise I think that's just about everything.
Yes, that is correct. But most importantly, that will put the wrecked ship into logic. And all the checks over there.
Cassidy's gonna use these little green guys to power up some power bombs pretty quick. Smart.
Yeah, the B-toms are a great source for power bombs. Just 5 rupees. And a heart piece hasn't been much of a prize yet. Down here. Link's doing some farming. Guessing they're probably going to try and do the gate glitch to Croc.
Just super missiles at Eddie Coons. Nice mock ball to get out of Eddie Coons. Link showing how easy that gate glitch can be when you know what you're doing. And down to Croc he goes.
We'll see whether the adage, always bet on Croc, is true today.
We've got our first bottle there at Green Star Reserve.
Cassidy gets the mock ball the second time. Ooh, and finds the power glove.
I was about to say what a load of junk, but that is definitely not junk. That is Dark World access for Cassidy once
remember, because that is not in logic without the speed booster, so we will need to see where the speed booster ends up being.
That's a good point. And Cassidy needs to do Kraid to get his Marine Pearl. Whoops, Cassidy accidentally going back down the elevator, I believe.
change their mind, but I'm guessing that was an accident. Nope, they are going back down.
Interesting.
Oh, they forgot to grab the bottle, that's why.
But this is our first bottle, so definitely makes sense to go back for that.
Just 20 rupees at Croc Power Bombs.
Link gonna go through the back way to get over to Grapple Bay.
Since Link does not have space jump, that makes sense. This is the only real way to get over here.
We'll see where Cassidy decides to head once he gets back to the ship. Ship play.
Unfortunately, it seems like so far, Link's decision to go straight to Norfair and skip out on Brinstar is kind of hurting him a bit.
Yeah,
I mean, they weren't able to check Indiana Jones because they had no way to get up there. So they're going to have that whole location sort of orphaned.
yeah, the decision I think is an interesting one with the cart loadout because it is orphaning that item can't feel good. And Link has plenty of places that he can check progression, like Brand, for example. I think I would have preferred to see him following Cassidy's footsteps.
But I'm guessing he was probably gambling, just trying to get an edge. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out this time.
Yep, and these 1v1 races, it's not always about what you do, but it might don't do that your opponent does, for better or for worse. So that could be an example if Link knows that Cassidy often skips Crocomire. Going there early could be a decision by Link to try to get. Cassidy's heading back down Red Tower, or heading down Red Tower for the first time.
Yes, Link does know that gravity is there at Croc Escape, but doesn't have a way of getting there at the moment.
You can either space jump or grapple beam. I think maybe you can horizontal bomb jump over there or infinite bomb.
Yeah, you can use bomb jump. You can even use speed booster and high jump combined to get there.
So it looks like Link is gonna move into
Yeah,
setting
we're
it.
going to try the CWJ.
So the CWJ stands for continuous wall jump, and it's a very difficult trick to pull off. But you want to land on that platform in just the right place so that you can do a wall jump off of it and not lose any momentum. But just
a bloomerang at X-ray. Cassidy has no interest in that and is leaving. And just bombs in the ocean.
Cassidy waiting for that block to come back. It's always annoying. You want to just go, go, go.
The space jump was at Mission Impossible.
And there's Speed Booster in the not spiky room of death of right.
Spooky missiles. Yeah. The not spiky room.
Which, I mean, of course, it's spiky. It's just the spikes aren't turned on. And everyone knows that if your spikes aren't turned on, they don't do any damage.
Right.
Which, if you think about it, is probably why, if you watch like a lot of zombie movies, there's not a whole lot of spikes because there's no power to turn them. Link taking on everyone's favorite elephant ghost. Which really just makes me have a lot of questions about how like metaphysical things in the Samus universe. Like, can Samus come back as a ghost when she dies?
That is a good question.
How come there's no Chozo ghost? Lots of questions. Do you think the space pirates pay Phantoon? Like, is he employed by them? Are ghosts still eligible under like labor laws? Can he only work 40 hours a week? I just have a lot of questions.
It's possible that he doesn't work for the space pirates, and they sort of killed him when they crashed their ship into them, and so therefore he haunts the ship to keep them from being able to do anything with it. I don't know.
We see Cassidy there, just barely missing the Kraid quick kill. He only needed, I think, one more missile, but he got him down super. Nintendo, if you're out there, call me. I've got questions. I mean, I always assumed Phantoon did work for the Space Pirates, since he's part of G4. Like, would they build him a statue if he wasn't there? The single arrow of destiny being snuffed by 64-bit Link. I sure hope he can kill Ganon.
And Cassidy gets their mineral.
Just reserve tank there in red ship. Link is gonna skip.
Alright, and choosing to turn their high jump boots on for making this jump.
Interesting that they're not gonna save.
Yeah, that is an interesting choice, to just take whatever's here. I usually would save. I think it is a time save if you just don't need it, the item that's there, and reset out.
Cassidy checking out the ice beam location, which was nothing special. I was gonna say just some missiles, but it was even more useless than missiles. Just $20 at the wreck ship. Reserve.
But since they didn't save, they might as well pick the rupees up.
Is that Wreck Ship Preserve?
No, that's the Wreck Ship E-Tank.
Wreck Ship tank. Okay, Reserve's the one that you need speed booster for.
Correct.
I was like, I think we had this discussion last time we counted together, but
And Cassidy also decided to go for the super missiles at Crumble Shaft.
I mean, if you can get them as easily as Cassidy got them, I can't blame Cassidy for going for those. It would have taken me substantially longer to pull those jumps off. But super missiles are, you know, they're nice. They are the quickest way to, especially while you've got the charge beam, you've only got the charge power beam, which is not a great damage dealing weapon.
And I do find them very useful against, say, Ridley. Just because Ridley has a real tendency to just move around on you. And get his tail in the way of your shots.
Indeed, Ridley can be quite the pain. We'll see what's up here in the attic shortly. Cassidy gonna discover their gravity suit.
And they will actually be able to get that with this space jump. But first they're going to make a play over to Death Mountain. They have the hook shot, they have the hammer, they can actually do all the checks over here in Light Death Mountain.
Yep, they can dive into Hera too. No fire source, so may not be able to finish Hera.
Using the hook shot to make their way through the cave. But instead now deciding to change instead to using bombs. Oop, Link doesn't quite get the speed booster there to...
Oh, that's a smart place to launch off from. I never thought of doing a diagonal spark off that platform.
And just a E-Tank up there in the sky. Ooh, and there's the mirror. Now that's an important item to find.
It makes routing a lot of dungeons so much easier. So far, this has been a very Super Metroid-centric seed in terms of where the loot is.
Yeah, we got early Super Metroid access and a lot of good early Super Metroid items.
And we're about 45 minutes into this race, so now is a great time to remind everyone to please give both of these guys a follow. I believe that was Blue Mail. Yes, we know that because Link already did. Please give these guys a follow. They're putting on a great race for us, super enjoyable, and without racers, we couldn't have a tournament. So please take a minute to go over to their Twitch profiles and follow them. And I'm also going to give a big shout out to Iker, who's doing our tracking tonight. He's doing an amazing job, as always. It's a much more difficult job than you might think it is. So please give him a follow. And please check out rank1.global. They are the prize sponsor. They were nice enough. Cash this way. How awesome is it that people can play this ridiculous game and making it? I think that's really awesome, and Rank 1's a pretty neat little site as we get the Pegasus boots in the bottom of Paradox Cave.
I was just thinking about it. We technically would be in Super Metroid, between the two runners, we would currently be in Super Metroid Go mode. It wouldn't be a fun Go mode, since it would involve a lot of charged shots with no other beams, but it would technically be able to... Oh, well, there we go, plasma.
That's a big find. That really ups. And X-ray.
And
wow.
X-ray. So we have the microwave already unlocked for Cassidy.
So hopefully we'll get to see Cassidy microwave fan tune. It's pretty rare to see folks microwave fan tune, but I love watching. So rank one really quick. I just want to you can kind of collate your gamer social profile. You can do things like what are the games you're playing, what are your favorite games. If you happen to be streaming, you can put up some clips up there. It's a pretty cool little site that is run by a passionate group of folks, and they deserve at least a look-see if you get a chance to. And of course, a big shout out to SpeedGaming for hosting the tournament.
Yes, indeed. This is always nice being able to watch all these matches. Enjoy getting to see all these runners race.
Yeah, SpeedGaming is like the best cable channel that you don't even have to pay for.
Yeah, right now there's no sort of physical sports going on. It's nice to be able to watch all these esports.
Yeah, and if you might be interested in this kind of thing, please do share some links. Randomizers are only getting bigger. They were pretty small a few years ago, and now we've got 94 people in this tournament. I know the Final Fantasy Randomizer had a huge amount of participants in it this year. The Link to the Past Randomizer League had a huge amount of folks in it, so all kinds of people very interested in this kind of stuff. You never know if you have a friend or a brother or a sister. Have them join up.
And Link showing off the Gauntlet Spark. Unfortunately, unlike Cassidy, Link does not have the screw attack because they did not go to Eastern Palace, so they're actually just having to use power bombs to get through Gauntlet.
I love the Gauntlet Spark. That's one of my favorite Shine Sparks in Super Metroid. So we know Link's not going to find anything of value back here. Yep, doesn't even bother picking up the missiles, which makes sense. Meanwhile, at 51 minutes and 8 seconds, Cassidy's got his first crystal. Moldworm is down. I was not counting items, so I don't know if he got both items. I think he left one in the basement, but chat can hopefully correct me on that.
It looks like Link is going to take the same routing that Cassidy did, going through Gauntlet and then heading down into Retro Bryn. Of course, now they have, interesting. They have the speed booster, but they did not stop to try and check.
They could be heading up this way.
Oh yeah, since they went, yeah, that does suggest when they killed the ones that they are going to head back up again instead of going down into Blue Bryn.
Or they're going to check. Okay. I think they perhaps forgot about this, and then right when you were saying it, they thought, oh yeah, I should probably do. I have so much trouble getting over these stupid things.
I personally would need Ice Beam for that, but that's me.
Yeah, I usually won't even try this if I don't have Ice Beam.
Screw attack would also work, but yeah, I would power in this situation. I would power bomb them as well.
Yep, these guys, 3 power bombs will kill them.
Well, Cassidy is in Hype Cave, giving us our first look and finds the Fire Rod and the Quake Medallion.
So
I would say that's a pretty good
Yeah, I'd give that one. Okay, shaft supers were just supers. That does mean that we now know where all 3 medallions are, and we even know where the mirror is, so we can get combos. So we're not going to be locked out of any dungeons. I do not believe we've seen a map check yet. It looks like Link is going to skip Retro Bryn, which we know is a bad idea.
Well, they may be going and refilling their power bombs and then coming back down.
That could be. I'm actually trying to think. The only thing in Retro Bryn that was of value was the powder, I want to say.
Yeah, they really need to get to Pink Bryn and to Mission Impossible so they can get their space jump.
Yeah, they need their gloves from the Bryn Stars.
Yes.
We'll see where Link's heading next. He's maybe heading back into North. Well, he's got the hammer and mirror, so I guess he's gonna do his terror check in his east side death mountain. That makes sense.
Oh no. He's just headed down to North there.
It's interesting that Cassidy saw that blue mail in Spec Rock, but did not pick it up.
Oh, my guess is now that he has Speed Booster, he is going to go down and get the gravity suit from Croc Escape.
That seems like a good play. Cassidy deciding he does want the $20 from Catfish. I want to say that skipping Burnstar is actually, I don't want to call it a meme, but it's definitely something that some runners try really hard to do.
I think what is some runners think of it in the same way they think of a pendant jump. It's sort of like if it's a pendant pod. There's probably something there, but man, if you could skip it, it would be great.
Nice job getting up there with just the high jump boot, so that's gravity suit for Link. So that does mean now that the entirety of Super Metroid is available for Link to... Cassidy's gonna give us the magic bat check. Yeah, what do you think, Chad Rain or Alden? You think there's gonna be anything good on Magic?
My guess is no.
Welcome to Speed Gaming. You guys have joined a Super Metroid Link to the Past combo randomizer tournament. This is the winners matchup in Group H. So these guys each have 1 win. The winner moves on to the brackets, whereas the loser will face the winner of the losers match.
Yeah, it looks like Link is just going to blind check the Main Street missiles, which is just missiles.
And we'll see
They're
just more
immediately
missiles.
pushing that gravity suit into Meridia.
And I looked away from Sick Kid just long enough to not see what Sick Kid had.
Sounded like it was just rupees.
Hiker, our amazing tracker, confirming it was just as Link heads into Mother Turtle. Mama Turtle? I suppose it's Mama Turtle. Just a heart piece in the item in the middle of the room. We'll see what's in.
And a knee tank in the wall. Cassidy heading into the dark world over here. Looks like they are going to go into the village of outcasts. Since they currently don't have a sword, they're just having to pick up all those bushes.
I'm trying to remember, where did Link find his sword?
It was in...
Grapple?
one of the Bubble Mountain locations, I think.
Nothing in the test game. We'll be checking the brewery.
Yeah, I think it was the wave missiles.
Oh, yep, that's right. Yep, it was where Wave Beam was.
And the ice rod. We
Well,
still
that-
haven't gotten a map check to know whether Turtle Rock is a pendant or crystal, but
Well,
at least
fortunately,
we won't have to hunt it down. The ice
we
rod.
don't need a map check now because we know that it's definitely pendant. That was a heart refill there on Cassidy's side.
Yeah, and it looks like they are going to be headed into.
Which of
East
course
Ave.
we know is a pendant. I'm not sure Cassidy is the one who talked to Sash Rowell, so he may not have known that coming in, but now he definitely does because you can hear the music. Gets another bounce.
And it is the green pendant, so they just figure it's worth doing anyway.
Does not have a. Oh, I guess you can hammer blind. Ooh, that's no fun.
Yeah, you can do hammer blind.
If Cassidy hasn't been through Bubble Mountain, so has not gotten there's the Ice Beam, has not gotten the Samaria in Cathedral or the sword that is in Wave Beam.
That is
Link's
correct.
checking out the sand. Cassidy showing off why they did not grab the Blue Man. Makes death warping a lot easier. Absolutely nothing of value in the left sand pit.
So it looks like they just wanted to check the front of this town and then leave.
That's something I've heard a lot of runners kind of refer to as being essentially an overworld.
Well, and particularly since it's a pendant, it's a nice, easy grab a few quick items. And then
Let's see if
immediately
Cassidy's gonna write us a message. Doesn't look like it.
and
that was
just a missile pack.
That was a lot of digs for just a missile pack.
I suppose that's better than just finding arrows, but not by a whole lot.
Cassidy is gonna orphan K45 here since Cassidy has not yet found the mirror. Does find $300 on Stumpy. Meanwhile, Link's heading up to Botswoon. Very nice short charge there.
That's kind of unfortunate with Link having not done some of the checks that Cassidy's done. Link is going to have to use ammo for both Batoon and Dragon, while Cassidy will be able to just use the easy microwave strats.
Well, Link can at least shine Spark Dragon if he wants to. I'm starting to get a little ammo situation here on the. Okay, good, he got him.
Cassidy gets their cane.
So if you run out of ammo on Botswoon and do not have charge beam, you get that's a soft lock. That's generally in the randomizer not too bad because you've probably saved right at the sand pits, but it's still that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, that's definitely. I know it ended at least one of my practice scenes when I had not saved at the sand pits.
Looks like Cassidy's gonna skip the rest of Bubble Mountain for now and head for that gravity.
Well, it does make some sense. Take less half as much damage when you have gravity as just having the Varia suit.
I could also see, given the gear loaded, I could definitely see Cassidy get the gravity suit and go straight to Ripley, and then get the Bubble Mountain checks on the way out from it.
I think that would definitely be something that is certainly a possibility here. Looks like they are going to at least check Croc's items first.
I thought for a minute they might have forgotten that they had the charged plasma, which Croc does just wants to know. We actually do have one sword. It's at the wave beam location. Link has found it. Cassidy.
And we also know that there is a sword on Lumberjack Ledge, which neither runner has had any interest in collecting.
Link setting up some shine sparks on Dragon. This is a great place to teach yourself short sparks, because you can use some guides on the ground. So if you're learning Super Metroid, this is a really good place you can watch a quick tutorial and then do the trick and feel like you're pretty good. Dragon really wanted to grab Link. And there goes Dragon. That was all things considered, a pretty good quick kill. Didn't take too long. Cassidy showing off more moonfall. Cassidy in the cosine room.
And we'll find the same general lack of items that Link did.
That said,
we'll actually be able to check Indiana Jones.
That's what I was just gonna say. It was Indiana Jones will be a new check. So if you're a fan of Link, you're really hoping there is nothing up.
And it's just supers, so you didn't really miss anything down here in Croc.
No, especially given that we know where Charge and Plasma are. Yeah, missing a pack of supers, not.
But it does look like Cassidy is not going to resit out and is actually going to take their supers and rupees with them.
Did they save? I didn't notice.
Well, yeah, I didn't check if they saved, but they definitely are not. We're not worried about resetting out.
So it'll be interesting to see where Cassidy goes when they get to her gravity suit for a momentary. I'm still thinking it's going to be lower Norfair, but we'll find.
And it looks like between the two runners, we've found the entire max beam, since Link does have the wave beam.
I missed wave beam. It must have been. Was that a Dragon?
Yeah, I missed where it was too. I just all of a sudden seen him using it. It's like, oh, was it precious missiles?
Oh, the check. Okay. Cassidy, it looks like, is going to go ahead into lower Norfair.
Oh, it was at the Batoon E-Tank. Gotcha. And spring ball at precious. Oh, wow. I guess I should have been paying more attention over there. which I think may be an indication that he's planning to go to X-ray.
Which we know was nothing of note. Cassidy's gonna save before heading down to since Cassidy has Cassidy can activate the Chozo statue to lower the acid. That said, if there's nothing of value in GT, I think it's quicker to reset out than it is to go GT and farm the ammo back up.
And Link just choosing to power through and then use the speed plus high jump combo to get up to the room there. And welcome SpeedGaming 4.
Sorry?
This is currently watching a Super Metroid Link to the Past combo randomizer tournament match between cassidymoen and 64-bit Link.
We've had a very Super Metroid heavy seat here for the last 45 minutes or so. Spacer Beam at Showcase Showdown, nobody wants that.
Well, Cassidy picked it up. I would... Yeah, okay, they are switching back to their plasma. They should. I would also turn their charge beam on for this, just for the little bit of extra damage.
Yeah, they have charge beam on.
Yeah, well, Alright, I mean the ice, sorry, ice.
Ice beam, oh yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Cassidy showing off that if you stand on GT's foot, he just can't hit you.
And looks like 64-bit Link is finally getting to their Brinstar checks. I'd probably be a bit disappointed at what they're going to find here. Probably would have been really nice to have had space jump and such earlier.
Just a heart piece at GT. Which I'm not a big fan of the name GT because it confuses me with Ganon's.
Yeah, well, you can just call it Old Chorizo, or I sometimes call it the Super Metroid GT to distinguish.
I was trying to get Big Bird going, but there's some pushback there. Morph ball bombs, you know, kind of a little late to be particularly useful, but
well, it is nice to have those going into lower warfare, just because.
So Meyer was our last pendant, and the 5/6 were Turok and Palstra.
Oh, finally got that map check.
Link picking up his powder. Cassidy going through the zoomer room. Setting up a shine spark so that he can just shine through the.
Well, doesn't have speed, so it's just
good point.
Going to have to do screw attack and space jump, but that's still actually not that much slower to go across that way.
Cassidy making quick work of the easiest room in the game, of the worst room in the game. It's not too hard with the slowdown, but I don't know that it's the easiest room.
No. And Cassidy, I would say that's the room right where Cassidy is right now, is in one place where having the morph ball bombs is really good, because you do not want to fall down there and have to go all the way back around.
No, going back all the way around always it does not feel good.
particularly if you don't have such an easy equipment loadout as Cassidy does for getting through worst room in the game.
Magic Cape at Waterway.
I don't believe we've seen Bumper Ledge yet to know whether there's anything important there.
We have it. That does put Aga in logic. Well, no, we still need the mirror. Not the mirror. The lamp.
The lamp, yes. And Link does pick up the shield that Cassidy skipped.
Cassidy checking the Firefly room before heading down to Rid. Probably hoping for another E-Tank. I mean, 4 E-Tanks, both suits, probably fine, but... Well, confident enough to not save. Link will be getting his Power Glove in the not super distant future. We'll see what's at Power Bombs of Shame.
Oh, the flippers.
The Flippers of Shame.
And this seat continues to be extremely super Metroid heavy.
Yeah, taking a look at the items that we need. We need the bow. We need the Titan's Bit. And I think that's it.
Yeah, with that, with those flippers, well, once the runners have done the checks the others have made and have both the flippers and the mirror, they will be able to get the bombos off of Lake Hylia Island,
Which we may or may not need. Really depends on what Total Rock is.
and Link gets their space jump. While Cassidy goes into their Ridley fight.
And Cassidy's just gonna unload. Oh, now they're unloading missiles. Now they're back to supers. 30 supers will do Ridley. Some nice pogos.
And Ridley is a boss where it's nice to be able to count your damage if you can, because Ridley does not actually die immediately when he is dead. However, if you can trigger that by getting Ridley to pick you up, and then he will die immediately. Otherwise,
like
you have
that.
to go through a large number of swoops before he finally dies.
We'll see what's at the last spot here with Ridley. Just some more supers. It's worth pointing out, just in case anyone is not aware, we do not actually need the flute. First of all, because Misery Mire is a pendant, but even to get to Misery Mire, you can go through Warfare and the combo randomizer, so you don't need the flute. So if there does happen to be a required item, like say the bow in there, we can get there without the flute.
I must admit that is unfortunately going to be one possible unfortunate bit of routing from Cassidy, is that because they did not have the mirror when they came down here, they were not able to route Desert Palace in with this play.
Yep, the mirror, I believe, was wrecked.
Yes, it was in Wreckship. And 64-bit Link gets their glove, so they now have access to Dark World.
Cassidy will hopefully just stop by the wave beam area on his way out here so that he can get a sword. Not having a sword an hour, 18 minutes into the siege feels probably pretty bad. Especially when you know there's a sword on Lumberjack Left.
Yeah, and you're really hoping that that is not a sword you're going to end up needing to get. And we just find the bug net inside the PB's in jail location.
Which I guess I will say that since bottles now start empty, I feel like the bug net has a little bit more value than it did otherwise.
That's true. If you never find the time to make it over the witch, you can quickly grab up a couple fairies just for safety. Particularly when you have the powder to turn anti-fairies into and bunny beans into fairies.
Looks like Link is going to be heading back into Zelda. Which we know is not, it's not necessarily the wrong choice, but we know that it's unlikely he's going to find anything particularly valuable.
Well, the one area where it may help him is if he can get the fire rod, which I believe was in Turtle?
Hype Cave.
Which, in Hype Cave. Then when he goes to Lower Norfair, he can route Desert Inn.
Very true. So Cassidy's had a solid route so far. It's really just worked out his way. I would still say it is too early to say whether somebody has a lead or not.
At the moment, both runners only have 3 bosses down. So there's still quite a lot of the game to go, even though between the 2 runners, we're getting much closer to go mode.
Yep, we know Cassidy needs to head over to Wreck Ship. And we know that 64-bit Link needs to hit up Hype Cave and the Village of Outcast. Which nobody's found any kind of item that would make you go, oh, I'm at an advantage. There's no way my opponent's going to find this soon. Everybody's stayed pretty on the beaten track.
Yeah, there haven't been any trolley items yet, but
Cassidy says,
haven't found the bow, so.
Yep, and Cassidy says 7 energy tanks is enough. Scoffs the other map check here on Link's side where we can confirm that my eyes are functioning correctly. Cassidy heading back to Lower Norfair. Mike Meyer? Which is an interesting play.
And maybe this is them deciding that they need to make a gamble to sort of get an edge.
SpeedGaming 3, welcome. thank you for joining us. You've just been tuned into a Super Metroid Link to the Past combo randomizer tournament race. This is the winners matchup of Group H. We've got cassidymoen and 64-bit Link going at it. It's been a pretty exciting race with lots of things found so far.
Oh, and there is the bow inside of Skull Woods.
So at 1 hour, 23 minutes, that is no mode, I believe.
Yes, because between the two runners, we have every item except for Bombos, but we know where that is.
And we also know where there's a second sword. Not that they'll want to go get it, but we know where it is. So unfortunately for Cassidy, that means that the best he can really hope to find here in Meyer is a sword.
Yep. Only items at large are the sword and the flute. Also could find the silvers. That would certainly help speed up the Ganon fight, as well as several of the boss fights.
That's very true.
And I didn't see what was on Bumper Ledge.
I did not see either. Arrow upgrade according to our amazing tracker Iker.
Alright, well, so that cape may not be useful unless it's needed for Spike Cave. Or, again, it may very well still be needed for Aga.
Dungeons to take a gamble on. I mean, I guess did also gamble on Eastern earlier. That's where Cassidy found Screw Attack. Myra, of course, only has two items rather. So you can spend a lot of time in here and only end up getting 1, 2 items. I do believe they can clear this, but that said, clearing Misery Meyer with a fighter sword and no bow is truly a terrible experience, and Cassidy gets caught up by the fighter.
Yes, I assume that their goal here is really just to see if they can find the two items and then leave.
Cassidy demonstrating why BMOs are the least favorite enemy in the 64-bit Link, getting his fire rod and his quake.
And since Link has the bow, it looks like they are going to be headed over towards Pod.
It's a sound decision. There are 5 items.
Ped, for all practical purposes, is probably dead. The only thing we're really looking for is, at this point, is swords that are more convenient than doing Aga.
Yeah, I would say Ped is on the life supportiest of life support.
I wouldn't even say it's on life support, because Aga would be easier than doing 3 pendant dungeons.
Well, maybe. If you just happen to incidentally do Meyer and then Thieves Town. I could see doing a quick run through of Eastern faster than doing Aga. I mean, I do think it is very unlikely that situation is going to happen. And we still have not found anything of value here in Meyer. I mean, I will be pretty surprised if Cassidy does go for the Vitreous kill. Green Male Fighter Sword Vitreous is not a good time.
Yeah.
That said, I do think Vidi has an item.
That's true. We could have mitts on Ped. That would be pretty unfriendly.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good catch. Cassidy saving and quitting, probably going direction.
Yep, they do need to head there and get their mirror.
I'll put Cassidy in bow mode. Which fortunately Cassidy can full clear Skullwood, so I think it not that unlikely that Cassidy will get their bow pretty quick.
Yeah, and then we'll just have to find the mitts.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about the mitt. That said, there is not a whole lot of locations left in Super Metroid where the mitts can be.
No, they likely are somewhere in Link to the Past at this point. So we have quite a bit of that game that we have not seen yet.
Cassidy picking up their speed booster.
I believe between the two runners, we've seen everything in Super Metroid, have we not? Other than Plasma and Shack Tool?
I think that's correct. See if Cassidy's gonna go for the microwave strategies here. You do need to shoot a missile into Phantoon's eye before you attempt to microwave him.
Since at the time that 64-bit Link defeated Dragon, their only way to have killed the Plasma Pirates would have been with Speed Booster.
Can you pseudo screw those pirates?
Yes, but he does not have Charge Beam yet.
Good point. Cassidy have some trouble just getting the microwave beam where he wanted it to.
64-bit Link going through the dark maze finds a missile.
Cassidy demonstrating why often at times, even if you do have the microwave beam, folks just get microwave and Phantoon. He moves around with so quickly it can be very hard to get that beam stuck in his eye.
And gets Phantoon down.
favorite ghost elephant has sung his last song.
While Link is still trying to make his way through this dark maze.
I kind of suspect he has paused to Google a map. That is, of course, perfectly allowed in this tournament.
Of course, the other progression item that we technical progression item we have not seen is the lamp.
I don't know, and Link taking a death. Which we'll see if he heads back that way or not.
And we see Cassidy will take a save before heading through the spiky room of death. Which is good because then they will be able to reset back out. Since we know that they're not going to find anything of interest.
Me, Almasaur giving 64-bit Link the business. Just a small key in the one side of the dark U and the compass.
And it was just a compass. Finding the red boomerang in Harmless Hellway. And now going to make another attempt to get to that chest they were unable to reach in the dark maze.
Cassidy showing how easy clearing out the attic is with screw attack. Just some missiles in the dark maze. Definitely not what 64-bit Link wanted to find.
No, it looks like they're going to now head and beat Almasaur.
Hopefully Link won't have any troubles with the Dark Turtle Room. The Dark Turtle Room is a nightmare.
There are some dark rooms that I will not bother to even attempt, and these are some of them.
I'm right there with you. I can do Eastern and the Old Man, and that's about where my dark rooms run. Cassidy showing how easy it is to check the reserve item with Speed Booster. You just speed boost right through those.
And also demonstrating an intended use of X-ray to check the item. And finds their mirror.
So they are just looking for the bow, the mitts, and maybe the lamp. Probably not the lamp. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Cassidy head into perhaps Skull Woods after he finishes this lecture. Although I suppose he could head into Meridia too. I can certainly see a case for, well, you've got Meridia left to do, might as well clean. Iker in chat pointing out that if Link wanted to, he could use the fire rod to, and he's going to light up the torch, which makes it a lot easier to do this room because, surprise, you can see. And Link has made it to Helmasaur. Bashing that helmet using the sword to extend the hitbox of the hammer ever so.
And pulling out the bow to finish off Helmasaur. And finding the shovel, which I think was the only notable item in the pod.
I think that's correct. Link not giving Eastern time of day.
Which means they still aren't going to get their screw attack. The screw attack isn't really a necessary item, but since they still have not done lower Norfair, it's one they would probably find useful. And we're finally seeing the back of Escape.
Almost 2 hours in. I think that's our third bottle.
And enough rupees to fill it up with whatever you want.
Meanwhile, Link's doing a spike check. Spike cave check, rather.
And finding supers.
We'll see where Cassidy's gonna head after he gets into the Dark World. I feel like this is a very strong possibility of being a Skullwoods.
Meanwhile, it looks like Link is finally going to do their Death Mountain checks.
Cassidy gonna do the back of Skullwoods first, which makes sense. You've got to do it because it's a crystal, and both items may be back there. We of course know that they will not be. This is the smart way to order a thing.
And we'll have to see whether whether there was another item in Terra that Cassie left or not.
Yeah, if the Titan's mitts are in Tower of Hera, that would be pretty. Now Cassidy is gonna have really poor choices here to kill Mothula. Can use the fighter sword. That's not good. Will have a couple shots of the fire rod. And can use the hammer, which is always a terrible choice. So we'll see what the methodology is here.
Ooh, out of magic for killing the Gibdo and has to use a hammer instead.
So of course the trick with Mothula is that when Mothula hits spikes, Mothula takes no damage. Ooh, and Cassidy taking a death. That's painful. And getting bodied by Moldor. Hammer Moldor, not a very good fun time, but definitely better than Hammer Mothula.
Of all the bosses that you can use hammer strats against, I would say that Moldorm is probably the easiest.
Titansmiths cannot be in the pyramid because Turtle Rock is the other 5/6 crystal. And we are not seeing a basement check for Blinky.
Link will soon be getting their plasma and X-ray. And Cassidy takes down Mothula.
Right, was getting pretty down. Pulls up. Just gets a compass for his trouble.
Well, we know the big prize is going to be the bow. Putt gets their crystal. That's an important part. Gonna head to the other chest here in the back.
We know there won't be anything of value in here, but Cassidy, of course, can't tell.
And that was the second item in Skullwoods. Unfortunately, it was just an arrow upgrade.
Cassie's just gotta find that, well, I mean, it's thematic, I guess. You find the bow in one chest and an arrow upgrade in the other. Can't complain about that.
No, extra arrow capacity to use that bow you're about to find.
Cassidy running full steam into a pit.
And Link is going to show us Bonk Rocks.
I believe Cassidy has already checked Bonk Rocks, but I did not see what it was. It didn't look like it was anything of value. Just 20 rupees. Cassidy getting his bow. So he is in gloves mode. Which personally I say Pendant Thieves Town. You need the gloves. I feel like you do the back of Thieves.
Well, the other option, of course, is Swamp Palace. It's a crystal. There's 6 items.
Version 11 so far seems like it has been a very trolly version of this random.
And it does look like they are gambling on that turtle rock. It is the green pendant.
Yep, I did not count how many items they found in here the first time. Let's see if we get a inventory at some point that we can take a quick look at, see how many items are left. Normally this dungeon has 4 items. With the green pendant, that means there's an extra 5th item available.
Yeah, we have not found the small key yet, so we know that will be one of the items in the back.
We do know we can do the hammer chest, the big chest, so we don't have to worry that we're leaving something behind. Very pro powder. I can't tell you how many times I've died trying.
Okay, so it looks like we actually found 3 items in the front, so there's not actually much back here.
That said, you can do the back of the Thieves Town pretty quickly.
So I guess it really is 2, since the green pendant can be turned in for another item.
Despite being a pretty late dungeon, Thieves Town is probably one of the quickest in the game.
And we are running low on places where that lamp can be. Though we haven't seen desert.
No, we haven't seen desert. We've seen, I believe, we haven't seen swamp, as you pointed out, and swamp is something we can pull quick. There's the key in the maiden cell, so we'll be checking out the big chest here. Is it Vanilla Mitts? It is Vanilla Mitts. I can't.
Unfortunately, Link dipped out of Thieves Town, did the front, and then left.
So that's sword mode for Cassidy.
That is indeed sword mode, because they know where. Well, in a way, it is no mode, because they know where they can get a sword. They know where they can get bombos if it's needed for Turtle Rock.
Interesting decision to not take the extra few seconds to drop the maiden off. I mean, I guess you're thinking, I need a sword. There's lots of places a sword can be. You know, there's at least 2 other swords in the game that you don't know where they are.
And all without needing to go and fight a boss. I can understand it. You know there's 2 other swords in the game. And you know you have a bunch of dungeons still to do that you are going to have to beat.
So anyone in chat who's bored, feel free to guess where you think the 3rd sword is going to be. I'm gonna say Turtle Rock.
Might make sense. 1 in Turtle Rock, and probably the 4th sword is probably in GT somewhere.
looks like Cassidy's gonna buy some potions. Seems like a sensible play. Cassidy has tons of money. Also can turn in the mushroom if I recall correctly, if they think about it.
And they are filling up with blue potions.
Yeah, I'd like to see them turn the mushroom in. You're here.
And they've already have the powder, and so it would have made sense to turn in the mushroom because they don't need it to fake powder.
Which that almost makes me think that they're gonna check chests that are right on the way, and that's it. And if they get to clear out GT and they still don't have a sword, then they're gonna do Aga. But we'll see.
Well, and that's, they can route that in fairly well if that's what they need to do. And they pick up their bombos. So they are guaranteed now to be in sword mode. Though logically they still would need the lamp.
Link picks up some charge beam.
So Link will now be in Super Metroid Go mode.
Did Link not get the ice rod? I thought was in the village of Outcast. Am I misremembering where that was?
I think they must have gotten it. Because yeah, it was just in Village of Outcasts.
And it's been about an hour, so I'm gonna again ask everybody to give these two runners a follow. cassidymoen and 64-bit Link have been putting on a very entertaining show on really what's has been just kind of a strange seed in a lot of ways. Head over to their Twitch channels, hit that follow free. It doesn't do anything, and I guarantee it'll make them smile. All you gotta do is click a button. Also, a big shout out to our tracker Iker tonight, who's doing a great job of keeping us honest about who has what. He's picked up a few things that I've missed, so I greatly appreciate that. And finally, I'm going to give a shout out to my co-com, Chad Rohn, who is a pleasure to work with and hopefully is a pleasure to listen to. I mean, I think he's a pleasure to listen to.
Yeah, awesome. I should shout out my co-commentator, Eleanor Lamb.
Definitely not a pleasure to listen to. And we'll see how much of pod Cassidy chooses to do. Does Cassidy go for the full clear, hoping to get a sword on the way, or the?
I don't remember where the big key was.
I want to say it was vanilla, but don't quote me on that. Nope, there it is.
Okay, so they got the big key. Which way are they choosing to go? It looks like they are just going to head straight to Helmasaur. And just check every stuff along the way since they know where there is a sword if they need it. way down to Lower Norfair?
Yeah, and I mean, we don't have a time on it, but Link should realize he's in no mode too. Or sword. Oh yeah, he's still looking for the flippers. Which, if he heads down to Ridley, he will find, as the flippers were at our bombs of ship. So this is shaping up to be a really interesting finish here on this race. It could definitely come down to just what gambles they take.
Yeah, and how comfortable the two runners are with their what's going to be a pretty low percent Link to the Past.
Link remembering to turn his plasma on. Helmasaur making it easy to plug him full of arrows. Cassidy getting his shovel, which I suspect we will never see. Thieves Town, mitts were vanilla. Thieves Town, big chest.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Link will still be checking a lot of items because they only did the front of Thieves Town. They still haven't done the back.
Oh yes, I forgot they also. Which that could be a pretty something that they put off for quite a while.
64-bit Link, unlike Cassidy, does not pick up the spacer.
That's a time save on multiple ways, I believe. Picking up the spacer turns it on, so not only do you have fanfare, but then you have to go and turn it off.
That is correct. And with that full beam combo, they are able to make short work of Gold Chorizo. Unfortunately, since they do not have the screw attack, their progress through the rest of Lower Norfair is going to be slower than Cassidy's was.
Cassidy giving us a Super Bunny Cave check. Just find some sticks. Bombs.
However, since 64-bit Link does have the mirror, we'll be able to see some checks that Cassidy was unable to make when they went through Lower Norfair. Just missiles, a checkerboard cave.
Cassidy checking out her track cave. So far, just some arrows, a heart container, a red rupee, and some missiles. Looks like Cassidy's going to go ahead and do Total Rock next, which is also quick. So Bombos was not required, but Cassidy may opt to use Bombos. Oh, what a dead rock. What a... I was going to say Bombos can save a little bit of mana, so you can get a few fire rod shots off on Cold Stare when you don't have half. That joke is terrible, Asner.
And Link is going into desert.
I believe
Cassidy is going into Turtle Rock.
I believe all sports are currently canceled on Planet Zebez due to social distancing anyways. So Golden Turismo's not allowed. We found our first item in desert, which was 50 bucks.
Meanwhile, the first item in Turtle Rock is just a small key.
Thanks for going for the big chest here in desert. Finds the compass. So that puts our last item on Land Molus.
And Cassidy finds a reserve tank. This is the first item in Turtle Rock. And if Cassidy does not find swords here in Turtle Rock, they're going to be looking at a Hammer Trinex fight.
Which, with, what do they have, 9 hearts? Not my idea of a good time. There was a
They did found the silvers. Well, that's going to be hard for either runner to miss. Since it's right there on the path in Turtle Rock, you're always pretty much going to check that chest.
Yep, even if you're skipping just about every chest, you're not going to skip that one. Won't help on Trinex, of course, because Trinex doesn't take damage from arrow.
No, but that may give Cassidy an option when they do their own Manmolas fight.
Cassidy is going to check the chest on that island, which I think might be an item. It's the big key. Pretty important.
Yeah. Since they didn't have the big key yet, they did need to make that check.
Links to Landmo Fighter Sword, Intended Strategies. Something that you probably don't have a whole lot of practice with as a runner, unless you're also just doing NMG, but if you've just been playing the rando, you're probably used to having Fire Rod or Ice Rod. Really anything other than the Fighter Sword. Did we get a Mimic Cave check? Looks like yes.
Looks like Cassidy is checking all of this stuff along their way, hoping to find a sword. And finds a sword in Mimic.
Finds the Master Sword.
Well, that means in 2 hours, 7 minutes, and some number of seconds, Aga is now dead.
Yeah, I don't see either of these runners taking the time to go get the Tempered Sword.
Not if they have when they have silvers.
Cassidy going through the dark platform maze, getting lost can be a bit of a pain. But fortunately, all you really need to do is hold down at the start. Hold down, and then once you're on this one and you get to the right side, you just gotta hold left.
Let's see if Cassidy finds anything interesting here on Laser Bridge. And once they have the small key, they are out. $64-bit Link gets their mushroom.
Which we'll see if he remembers to turn it in. We know it's very unlikely that it's useful, but it could still be a sword.
And we still have one sword at large.
I've never seen anybody do the ice head before the fire.
I guess they really don't want to have to deal with ice on the floor.
I'm curious if Cassidy knew that it would take his mana to kill the fire head, and that was planned, or if it just was a happy accident.
And Link about to get their flippers.
Which will put him in gloves mode. Cassidy making quick work to try next. Like, get through the metal pirate ninja pirate room. Cassidy saving and quitting, and we'll see where Cassidy's gonna head next. Probably swamp.
I think that makes sense. You can then just go straight from there over to... Ice
Yeah,
Palace.
they're gonna have a little bit of a pain getting to desert because they're gonna have to go back through Lower Norfair, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, I'm sure they're hoping they may just luck out and find a flute along the way.
Yeah, I would actually expect to see Cassidy go and do Dragon after Swamp before Ice.
Yes, that might, or possibly, yeah, that actually would make sense. Go up to Death Mountain, kill Dragon, then go out the portal.
Oh, I'm thinking. I mean, I would think.
Either way.
Yeah, I would think they'll go up and use the Dark Ice.
Yeah, because they don't even need to explore anything in Meridian. They can just go straight in and leave.
Interesting. So checking the side room, I would have gone out.
I think They went in there out of habit and they realized, oh wait, I don't need to do that. We'll have to see whether we get to see any of the new techniques out of either of our runners, since they will be able to go mode both of these, both Swamp and Ice Palace.
Yeah, if Breaker, you can get through Ice Palace super quick these days. Diver down a little bit less useful at this particular point for Cassidy, but still might give it.
It saves a few seconds getting into the back. And it looks like Cassidy is going to go for the diver down.
Meanwhile, Link's making his escape from Lord Orphan. So if you're a fan of Link, you need to send him your energy to get him to go back to Thieves' Town. He's gotta believe in the memes.
And Cassidy gets the diver down.
That was well done.
That is one trick that I do need to practice. Thieves' Town is where the mitts are. We have vanilla mitts in this seed.
And Thieves' Town is the green pendant. And both of our runners have checked the front of Thieves' Town. Interestingly, they both checked the front and then left. And it just happened that Cassidy had gone back to it. And Link has... Cassidy making quick work of Fantoon. Very quick work of Fantoon with the silver arrow. It's the grapple beam, which puts Shaq to old logic. So obviously the lamp is now at Spring Ball.
I think that may be correct.
There's plenty of other places it
Well,
could be, like Smith's Chain.
Smith's Chain, Ice Palace. Yeah.
So we are going to see Cassidy swim over to the Meridia portal and take care of Dragon really quick. It's this portal is great. It takes you basically right to Dragon. Can be a little tricky to navigate without Spring Ball, but you can Kegu through the monsters pretty easily. Oh, and if you have Speed Booster, it's even easier.
Yeah, because you can just go right underneath those annoying enemies.
It's interesting that Metroids can fly both in the water and out of the water.
Yeah, and water physics does not seem to affect them.
And it looks like Cassidy's going to be skipping the wave beam, which would be a nice damage upgrade.
Yeah, but at this point, it's pretty unnecessary. Cassidy has everything that they are going to need in order to complete the game. Of course, I would turn the ice beam on again. does do damage faster.
I agree with you there. So you'll be able to tell Dragon is dead when Samus stands up. Might need another shot.
Yeah, unfortunately, without that extra with just charge and plasma, it's not the easiest. I'm not even going to check what Dragon's item is, just going to head right out.
Goes back down to get that little energy drop.
But I can understand that. Having had to go back into Thieves Town in order to get the myths, Cassidy's probably worried that Link might have just full clear Thieves Town to start with and gotten that myths much earlier.
Indeed. And that is it for Super Metroid bosses for Cassidy. Cassidy is ready to move on to Mother Brain, which I would assume we'll see only after Ganon's death. Cassidy making it through the shrimpy guys super easy.
Yeah, and I'm guessing we'll then now see a play to his palace.
64-bit Link just finding missiles in the big chest of Swamp Bell. Looks like he's also going to be going for Diver now.
And using the Kena Samaria strat.
Let's see if we see Icebreaker. I think it's very likely we will on a cast. Yep, Cassie just hitting that switch and then is gonna go and demo how to clip through the railing. Meanwhile, Link is taking on Argus. Or, I'm sorry, Phantom.
And Cassidy gets Icebreaker.
Not even gonna check just in the atrium. Link gonna go for fire rod shots on Argus. I want to say that Nader asking if he thinks icebreaker is worth it. I feel like you still save time, even with it taking that long.
As opposed to having to set up the bomb jump, having to deal with the Stalfos Knights. Having to get through the spiky conveyor route.
Pup's getting a little unruly here for Cassidy, but gets him down easy. Gonna check the hobo here. And that just leaves us with Desert Palace for Cassidy, which he's gonna have to go through Lower Norfair to get.
I never did find the flute in this seed, so...
Yep, we're still missing the flute, the lamp.
And Link picking up their bombos. No, Ridley is dead, but without the flute, Cassidy still needs to go back through Lower Norfair to get to the Mire area to Myrta Desert. When they did Lower Norfair, they didn't have the mirror.
Yeah, it's definitely not a fun time, Cheese Nader. That said, fortunately, they don't need to go back up and out. They can just save and quit and start up at the...
Yep, they will be able to just clear desert and then head right to Ganon's Tower.
The desert will not take long at all. Desert's a very quick dungeon.
And Link was checking plasma because they had been unable to do that check earlier. They did not have plasma, they did not have charge, they did not have screw attack.
Titansmiths are in their vanilla location. Big chest and thieves. Which Link did the front part of Thieves Town but left the back. And that is biting him big time. Looks like he's gonna give us a shack tool check.
And, you know, as far as we're aware, the only thing that could really be here would be the last sword upgrade or the lamp.
I'm betting on the lamp, personally. Tool doing his thing, taking forever. See what Link finds and if Link kills Tool.
Well, I would imagine if Link does not find anything in Tool, he will probably just reset because he has not found anything.
Well, he still took the time to kill Tool.
Well, if you are going to reset, you might as well kill Tool.
Just bombs. Cassidy gonna have a pretty much quicker Lambo fight here with silver arrows. Wow, and finds the book.
Alright, so that lower Norfair dive was required. And it looks like 64-bit Link may be deciding to go kill Mother Brain.
And for anyone who is paying attention in chat, there are 22 locations where the Ganon's Tower Big Key can be, and Cassidy is on their way to Ganon's Tower as we speak. Get those guesses in chat, and if you guess correctly, you win absolutely nothing but a pat on the...
And I have to admit, that is one difference between these top seeded runners and myself. I wouldn't head into Ganon's Tower with green mail when I knew where the blue mail was, but...
Oh, I'm with you there, and I'm going to put in my guess at 23. No, I mean, the truth be told, knowing where that sword is, even though it's Aghanim, I would totally have gone on Aghanim to get the tempered sword.
That's a tricky question. I would for sure have refilled all of my bottles, though.
Oh, careful, Cassidy, you can't charge to these guys.
Because Cassidy did use up all of their potions.
Uh-oh, and Cassidy taking a hit from the lion and dying. Clearly Cheesinator's fat.
Yeah, and I would agree, Cheesinator. Cassidy has had to display a lot of this knowledge.
Yeah, and I mean, and Cassidy did die once to Mothfuel, but went back the second time and really, for having such terrible equipment, really did a great job at Mothfuel. So,
I mean,
you know, I definitely think that Cassidy's got a really great shot.
Yeah, Cassidy found their mimics, their second sword at Mimic Cave. So, you know, they were playing through quite a bit with just the fighter sword.
We see just missiles on the floating island.
And 64-bit Link doing a crystal flash to restore their health after having their energy drained by the baby.
Cassidy bonking into those rocks to get a fairy. And that dead rock by the stone there has really just been trouble for Cassidy all day. Link setting up the Zebtite skip. Gets it really quickly, well done. Alright, so we're gonna close the big key guessing game here shortly. And that's where it's gonna stop, so we'll see where we find our big key. Hope room first. Well, there's blue mail.
Yep, that's a nice thing to find. Cassidy was willing to sacrifice the other blue mail just to keep for save on time, but now will certainly not turn down the reduced damage.
Yep,
Since death warping is no longer a necessity.
Yep, the blue mail was in Spectacle Rock for anybody who missed it. We've got some bombs, we've got some more bombs. We've got a key. Got a heart piece. So that was 7.
Free refill.
Coming up to 8 here in the fire bar room. Just another small key. So number 9 is going to be the fire snake room. Well, Link's almost done with his Metroid cutscene. Another small key.
And now we'll be headed for the rando room. Meanwhile, the saddest moment in the game is happening.
And there we are, that was chest number 11, I believe, and the flute, wow. Chest number 10. Let's see here, and that makes our winner Team Cat, I think. Team Cat guessed 9, and I think that's close to see without being over. Win Fox 470 saying, oh, well, 11. Sorry, Win Fox, I always do Prices Right rules. Closest without going over. Congratulations, Team Cat, you're a winner. Meow.
And since 64-bit Link defeated Mother Brain first, as you can see, there is no timer. 64-bit Link could take as much time as they wanted getting through the escape. The planet will not explode. However, since they're in the middle of the race, they probably shouldn't take as much time as possible.
Yep, you'll see when they get out of the door here at the top of this room that everything's just going to go back to normal, except for we'll still have the rainbow.
least until they go to over to Link's past, and then the game will be reset back to what they had before.
Cassidy making his way up the gauntlet. And yep, you should get your D's in chat for Link for finishing Super. This red style post really being a jerk.
Hopefully, with 64-bit Link still needing to do Skull Woods, that will help point them in the direction of Thieves Town.
Well, the good news for Link's part is there's not a whole lot he can do without the Titan Smiths. Like, it looks like he's gonna do Eastern, and that's obviously not gonna... Or not Pyramid Ledge.
Catfish? Oh no, he just used that to go over. Okay. King's Tomb, maybe?
Yeah, I think King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge would be my guess. Cassidy almost up to Maldorn too. Cassidy furiously powdering.
And you can fake powder with the powder.
Make short work of Maldorn 2, 3 fast short spins are all it takes. Just $20 in the validation chest. How sad.
But pretty normal since we knew we had pretty much everything already.
So far we've got a 1 and a 1. And another 1. Line up. Finishing with a double. Link finding that it's that fish, he's gonna turn in Zora, which I don't actually think we ever saw what Zora had. So Zora is actually a pretty good candidate for the lamp.
Trying to think whether we... I don't think Cassidy ever made it over here at all.
Oh, interesting, another sword. So that's our 4th sword.
And Link is not very happy with that. So for those who haven't necessarily been here the whole time, the 4 swords in this seed were at the wave missiles. There's one on the Lumberjack Ledge, there's one on Zora, and there's one in Mimic Cave. And
Cassidy
takes
taking a death. Cassidy taking a whole bunch of damage again.
Ooh.
I'd really like to see Cassidy, I think, go buy some bottles. You got tons of rupees and it's not that far of a run.
No, particularly when you have the mirror, so you can just mirror and over mirror and then come back again.
Link heading to the back of Skull Woods, gonna get his Mothua kill shortly. Still on phase 2 of Ganon.
Oof. And gets hit by a bat.
I mean, I'd at least like to see Cassidy pick up the fairy in the tree. Like, you're coming into this down 4 hearts, it's not helping.
Yeah, and I do agree with Team Cat and Chat. We're already 2 hours and 47 minutes into the seed. Cassidy probably is expecting a dot done from their opponent at any time.
Fire bat phase is a pretty tricky phase. It's really easy to misjudge where a bat's gonna go and run face first into one. I've died more times than I will ever admit here. Oh, that was some excitement. Should be almost through this phase. Meanwhile, Link is checking, it looks like the Bombo's tablet. And Bombos has the mirror shield. Definitely not what Link was looking for.
And Cassidy takes another death. At some point, I would think they would have to decide that to at least get a potion or catch a fairy to start at full health, but they're just gonna keep stubbornly doing this because they know that they can. And they are getting, if they can get past the second stage, it'll be an easy fight from there.
Yep, and I believe it's 12 spins to get through phase 2 with the Master Sword. Link heading up to check, I think, the Ether tablet now. Yeah, I wasn't sure how he was going to get out of there.
Yes, they do have the cape. However, they don't have anything in their bottles. So nor do they have half magic. So they have to be very careful with their magic usage. Well, not really, I guess, because they do have silvers, so once they get to stage 4, it'll be pretty easy.
And we have the 2-hour, 51-minute back of escape check from... Well, that's not something you see every day.
Nope. By the time the runners got gloves, they weren't really thinking about escape anymore. Though Link did have the gloves at the time they checked the front of escape, so it is a little surprising that they didn't do the back at the same time.
Maybe heading to Thieves Town? Oh boy. Whew.
But they did make it into stage 3.
Yeah, made it to stage 3 and I thought that bat was gonna get him.
Oh yes, it's Link that found the cape, I guess, not Cassidy.
Does not get the torch glitch. Gets two silvers. 3 silvers.
There's the
And
last
4
silver.
silvers. Nice. So get your G's in chat for cassidymoen. That is their first game finished. Makes it over the bridge. We'll be saving quitting the Super Metroid now. And while Link is clearing out Thieves Town, so hopefully he's moments away from his mitts.
It's probably very frustrating being almost 3 hours into the seed and not being in go mode.
Cassidy taking out a refill really quick at the ship. I like that. I always get annoyed when runners don't refill. It's all about me. So I would assume that Link, as soon as he gets those mitts, is gonna ditch the maiden, but we'll see.
I imagine so. He will be in full go mode, already having that Master Sword. And
a rage quake. Oh, you can't fault him though. That's gotta feel bad. I mean, he's had access to those for probably 2 hours at this point.
yeah, the Thieves Town was available as soon as he got his gloves. Which admittedly he did get late. And looks like Link is headed to Ice Palace.
Cassidy getting trolled a little bit by the Metroid. We'll see if the Metroids can kill Sam. It's 1 Samus down. It's 2 Samuses down. Uh-oh, Metroid's got a Samus stuck to it. I've really just lost my mind, don't mind me.
I am glad that Cassidy did remember to turn their ice beam on. They have had it off for almost the entirety of the race.
Link making his way through Ice Dungeon. We'll see if he does a icebreaker or
Cassidy destroying all of the baby's fine art.
Link missing the button. Looks like Cassidy is not going to do a attempt at baby skip. Link is going for the icebreaker. Link's still working on the icebreaker. And he gets it. Well done. So as we head towards the finish of this race here, please take a minute if you have not already to please follow these guys. They put on a heck of a race for us. It's been very exciting. The least you can do is go to their channels and click that follow button.
And it looks like Cassidy is attempting to do the speed zip skip.
And gets it. Nice. I'd also like to give a shout out to our tracker Iker, who's done an amazing job as always tonight. Catching a lot of stuff that we here in the commentary booth missed, so feel free to give him a follow too. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. And finally, please check out our sponsor, rank1.global. They were nice enough to do a cash sponsorship for this tournament for the top 4, which is pretty amazing. They've got kind of a place for you to collect all your gamer profile, like your favorite games, any clips you've got, stuff like that across all platforms. So it's a neat place to kind of help with social presence, which we all can use in these times of social isolation. And finally, for real, please give my co-commentator Chad Rollin a follow. It's the second time I think I've commentated with him, and it was as fantastic as the first. Very entertaining.
And give my co-commentator a follow. Lamb.
Puff's getting away from Link a little bit. Oh boy, use the red potion. Gets that red potion off just in time. Cassidy already through phase 2 of Mother Brain. I do not know if Cassidy knows how to do this. Link taking down Cold Stare. Does not look like we're getting a stand-up glitch on Cassidy's side. Link is...
They may be headed to...
they're gonna go buy potions.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, well they know they're gonna have to be doing Trinex with...
Yep, we do know that the 64-bit Link will likely find the red mail in the Hope Room of GT, depending on his routing. And we also...
But may not get the Mimic Cave.
Yeah, I would expect him to find silvers, but probably not the top bird. But
They
we'll
are
see.
going to turn in their mushroom and see what the reward is. And just to miss it back.
Cassidy or Rainbow moving down Mother Brain.
And Link filling up all of their bottles.
And Mother Brain has shot her last onion ring.
Mother Brain's diner is now closed.
That actually, some onion rings sound really good right now. So you'll see that Cassidy does have the timer because he is doing Super Metroid 2nd. While Link's on his way up to Total Rock. checking out Super Bunny Cave on his way to Total Rock to slay Cassidy.
Yeah, just easy checks that you can do. You can find another sword, or the silvers, or anything else that will make your progress easier.
Cassidy gets the spark up the shaft, and we'll see if Cassidy saves the animals. I would suspect not, but you don't.
I think that's very unlikely. If you're second in a race, you might consider it, but if you're going for the first place, I think you have to save the time.
Alright, and we have cassidymoen finishing with an official SRL time of 3 hours, 5 minutes. Give a big GG to Cassidy. Was a heck of a good race. So even with those mitts being pretty trolly, that's still an excellent time. 3 hours and 5 minutes is quite quick.
Yes, that's a very good time, considering some of the trolls that this seed put us through. Alright, looks like Cassidy will not be joining us for an interview.
So it's important to note that Link is not out of the tournament. He will be going on to play the winner of Biohazard 8224 and Break Jake. So we'll see more 64-bit Link, and you know, based on his performance in this race, I would not at all be surprised to see him advance in the brackets.
Yeah, he's shown a lot of skill. Just had on some unfortunate routing that just for this particular seed did not pay off.
Man, 102 power bombs is a lot of power bombs. Man, this this chain chomp is really being a jerk.
Yeah, it's thoroughly getting in the way.
Use the cape.
But Link does get his silvers.
Whew.
And does have the powder that he can use on the anti-fairies.
That was stressful.
Yeah, it looks like Cassidy finished with 194 items out of 316.
And coming up on SpeedGaming, this is the last race. Well, I guess for yesterday. It looks like on the schedule right now we have a race at 9:10 tomorrow Eastern. We've got Stachio Cat versus Lord Fizzle Beef. And then at 9:40 we have Maximum Barnage versus Zentrigger on SpeedGaming. There's some other races that looks like may or may not get on the roster on the channel at 7:10, but there's at least 2 for you to watch tomorrow. Oh no, Link skipped the big key, which was on the island chest.
Yes, he did skip the lava chest, so he does not have the big key. And now he realizes it and has to go back.
I think it's at least he doesn't have to go back that far. Rage slashes at the big key. Can't really fault them for. If anyone can give a link to the schedule to dig, I'm gonna butcher this name so badly. Diggy Dang. I guess that's not that bad. He's asking for the link in chat if somebody can get it to him. I'm on chat on my phone, so I do not have the link handy. And Link also missing a small key, which he needs to get out of the big key? Big chest, rather? Thank you, Iker, for passing on the schedule. Highly appreciated.
Yes, thank you for doing that.
Oh, Link, come on, check the moon chest while you're out here. Nope.
Yeah, you had to do both.
I think it's safe to say there's some pretty big tilt going on here on Link's side.
Yeah, well, this was one of those unfortunate seeds where you had to check both the big key chest and the big chest. And laser bridge.
So we never did find out where the lamp is.
No.
I think that the credits when Link finishes that might tell us where the lamp is.
Try to think what locations we had left.
I'm pretty sure it can't be in Eastern.
No, because we saw all of Eastern except the Armos Knights.
And I want to say we got all 4 items out of Thieves Town.
Yes.
Misery Mire, we checked everything we could.
And yeah, Fitty would also have been lamp locked. Could be the could be in Swamp. We didn't ever see much of Swamp since both runners go-moded it.
That's true, yeah, it could be left side swamp. Could be Fed? Nope, can't be Fed. Lamp can't be in Castle Tower. The only thing that's in Castle Tower is 2 keys, unless you're playing Key Sand.
And welcome SpeedGaming for the end of this is Super Metroid Link to the Past combo randomizer match between cassidymoen and 64-bit Link. cassidymoen finished with a time of 3 hours, 5 minutes, and 24 seconds. And 64-bit Link is finishing up their seed. They are in go mode. They've already taken down Mother Brain, so all they need to do is defeat Trinex and then go through Ganon's tower and defeat Ganon.
Like doing hammer strats here on Trinex. Gets him down without having to use another blue potion. Oh boy. This is a case where I would strongly encourage using Master Sword spins. It does the same damage as the hammer unless I'm missing something obvious. And has a much more...
Yeah, much better range.
And that is the last crystal for 64-bit Link. So if you have just joined the channel, feel free to guess a number between 1 and 22. Yes, there is, but nobody cheat. Besides, maybe Link will do a different order. Lionel's the worst.
Thankfully, they are only found in that one location.
I'm still going to guess number 23. Interesting that Link is going in a different, is skipping that Hope Room with the red tunic. So we'll see whether he is doing Dark Magician strategies and is gonna do the Stalfos room and then head back over to the right. We know from a sheer time standpoint, going full left is the way to go.
Yeah, we'll see whether he starts killing these Stalfos or not.
I'm thinking it's gonna be a mirror.
Yep, looks like it. So he will get the red mail. Unfortunately, won't find anything else of use. Except possibly hearts. And
We'll see if he goes full meme and checks Tile Rube. Nope.
which that makes sense. Tile room is usually a bad choice anyway. No need to do it if you don't have to.
Oh, that's one meme I can understand not wanting to give into.
And gets the heart, small heart pot or magic pot. These are the items we haven't seen, but it looks like it's just all junk. Gonna pick up the small key here, and then going to mirror back. So using the Paint Magician strats.
Whoops.
I don't think Link wanted to do that.
Yeah, sometimes when you get to the end of the race like this and you know you've already lost your brain, just kind of shuts. Just needs to get through this room and then into the Rando room and we'll have the... Ooh, Fire Stank's gone wild. So if you guessed 10 this time, you guessed wrong. It was 14. 64-bit Link, not happy about that flute location. Can't really fault him there, that's a pretty rotten place to find the flute.
Yeah, at that point, the flute is entirely useless.
The only thing it's good for is having the duck come rescue you at the end.
And 64-bit Link uses up their third potion, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know if they have one left or not.
I believe they filled up all 4 bottles.
Link making his way up the gauntlet. Always wonder why Ganon put random conveyor belts in his cast. Seems like an odd design decision.
I guess they're mostly for the B-bosses. I'm not sure.
So it's worth pointing out, as you might just notice there, the mirror shield does not save you from BMOS shots for whatever reason. Seems like it should, but it doesn't.
And Link going to use silver strats against Land Wallace too.
Which can be especially difficult with the little gargoyle guy causing lag, and then Silver's being in the kings of the... Which still makes me laugh every time I think released today that had a weapon that every time you shot it, it lagged the game to heck. Like, I feel like they would get destroyed by the media these days, but back in the Super Nintendo days, that was just this is just how it was.
Yeah, there were only so many frames to go around. There were definite sprite limits.
I haven't used the fire rod because we do not have the... Successfully does not despawn Ganon's tower. Will Link check these chests here? He does, he finds the compass, yay. And
Yeah,
some
I'm sure he's
supers,
hoping
yeah.
to find another sword.
Missiles definitely not what you're looking for out of GT big chest or out of GT chest.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of the swords ended up in Ganon's tower.
Which, considering how late we found our swords, is actually a pretty surprising.
Yeah, we knew where one sword was almost the entire match, but neither runner was ever going to get it.
Yep, so for anyone who is still here and was curious, the swords were... Our first sword we saw was on Lumberjack Ledge. Our second sword was in the item before Wave Beam. Our third sword was Zora. And our fourth sword was Mimic Gate. Nice double. It's a single. It's another single. I think that was a single too.
Yeah, I think only one of them actually... Oh no, must have been a double.
So we'll see if Link's gonna dive right in or if he's gonna go buy some potions.
Well, he's got one potion. Available. Has, and unlike Cassidy, has red mail. But it looks like they are going to...
Go into... Oh, he's gonna clear for the third sword, okay.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I guess he knows he's already lost, so he just want to make this as comfortable for himself as possible.
I was looking and I was really confused by the time in the speedrun chat and in the race. Now it makes so much more sense.
And
Forgets he
welcome
doesn't
to
have the layup.
SpeedGaming 5.
Easy as one blue bottle left, and he's gonna go refill the other one's ice.
Yes, I think he prefers to have the comfort of having those safeties, as opposed to Cassidy's method of just repeatedly trying again. And now,
Sure, why he save and quit?
yeah, I think it would have been just as fast to just run back. From the witch's hut.
But he's gonna do the big boss. I guess why not? Might be a sword in there. We know there isn't, but there could be.
Well, and then if he does have a problem dealing with Ganon, at least he knows he can just get some quick green potions.
Plus, I feel like playing a hole with Ganon's pyramid probably just irritates Ganon. Like, he's already got to fix the hole that he made, and now you're making a...
And that will be the last part.
Link's not too happy with that, but...
No, I don't think he's looking forward to this Master Sword fight. With no half magic.
I'd like to see Ganon's sources on that cheese fact. I don't know that I believe him. I mean, to be fair, Ganon doesn't seem like a very trustworthy guy. I could see him just making up statistics.
Yeah, I am not entirely sure why Ganon thinks we need to know some of these things.
Alright, so that's phase 1. 12 more spins will get him through phase 2. You can see the difference the red male makes too. He's only taking 2 hearts damage instead of 4.
Yeah, and having more life than Cassidy did is also able to take more of those hits.
Should be almost done with phase 2 here. I haven't been counting, but I feel like he's got to be getting close to 12.
I believe you are right.
Yep, so that's it for phase 2, so he's on to phase 3.
And if you...
Again, he's gonna get mad and break the floor.
And this stage is not necessarily the most difficult. A little more difficult when you have to use Master Sword because you have to charge up your spin.
Could be a double. Was a double. Oh boy.
Okay, good.
Yep, you can't. He's with you in the next game, so you might as well use them.
Yep, you've got 4 of them. Might as well go for the safe win.
It's a silver spin there, that's not what he's looking for. That should do it.
And there is the final silver arrow to take down Ganon.
And that's going to be 64-bit with a speedrun live time of 3 hours, 36 minutes, and 53 seconds. So please get your GGs in chat for him. That's still a really stellar time. And it looks like Link is willing to join us for an interview. And welcome to the broadcast booth, 64-bit Link.
Yo.
Well, so how did you feel about that seed?
I wish I didn't leave Thieves Town after clearing the first 4 chests. I was just like, hey, there were 3 items. There was so much value here with, I think it was like Charge Beam or something. I was just like, there can't be anything more useful than that here. And then I come back like an hour and a half later and get my Titan's mitts.
Yeah, that was rather unfortunate.
Cassidy did pretty close to the same thing as you, but he got back to Thieves Town faster than you.
Yeah, because it basically was, I was going to do Eastern, but then I realized, wait a second, I should just go back, finish out Thieves Town so I get the green pendant so I can do green pendant at the same time as Eastern, and then I found the Titan's mitts and that put me go mode so that I didn't need to do any of that. But yeah, it was that and the sword on Lumberjack just taunting me for the entire seed of like, find another sword, and I didn't.
Yeah, I was sort of where we said as soon as you get the mitts, it's like, okay, you're in no mode, but with your second sword being somewhere you don't want to go. Well, of course, in your case, you managed to find the second sword on Zora, but...
Yeah, I wasn't particular. Well, I mean, it was... I think you saw some... some angry sword slashes when I found that one. I was just like, they were all at inconvenient locations.
Yeah, the fourth sword was in Mimic Cave.
Yeah, I was just at that point. Yeah, I was just kind of. Yeah, I was just not going into Mimic Cave at that point. Like, I think you saw just how much I was just getting trolled by the Keyleo. Although, granted, some of it was just my fault of not paying attention. But like, I think this seed had like one of the worst Turtle Rock key layouts that can happen.
Yeah, where you're forced to go to both the big key chest and the big chest.
Yeah, so I was yeah, that one I wasn't happy about. And then did Cassidy wind up finding Lamp anywhere?
No, we didn't. We did not find a lamp, so it may have been on the green pendant turn-in. It may have been, left side swamp, or we were running out of locations where it could be, but we did not see it.
Yeah, that was. I think this is actually the first seed I've ever completed lampless, which, yeah, that was why. Like, I'm like, oh, I'll just get the sword off of Lumberjack and just like quickly do Aga, and then I realized as soon as I went into the first dark room, I'm like, no, I mean, technically, yes, I can get through those dark rooms, but I don't want to have to get through those dark rooms.
Yeah, I don't think that doing that would have saved you time over just doing the Master Sword Ganon.
Yeah, because I think, yeah, I mean, granted, that Master Sword Ganon actually went really well compared to like how I was expecting it to go.
Yeah, it did. Cassidy, of course, Cassidy had skipped the blue mail in Spectacle Rock, so was just doing it on blue mail for that Ganon fight, and did take several deaths.
Yeah, I mean, Master Sword Ganon is not free by any means, and yeah, just you get a fire bat pattern you don't want, and it can just spiral out of control. And yeah, like really that phase 2 is what makes it so hard, just because you're like having to charge spins while dealing with the fire bats.
Yeah, that is definitely the most difficult part of that fight, particularly if you don't have half magic or any other way of sort of mitigating that damage other than just dodging and hookshot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had Cape as a backup, but I didn't wind up having to use it. But yeah, it was, yeah, this seed, like, the early game was really interesting, and I mean, like, yeah, because I was basically like just getting little things that just let me do a bunch of Super Metroid, and then I'd get back to Link to the Past, and then I'd get another thing to point me back to Super Metroid. So, I mean, unfortunately, it didn't wind up, I think, paying out as much as I would have liked, or at least like Super Metroid didn't. But yeah,
There was a lot of progression in Super Metroid, but it was spread out all over, so you really had to either keep repeatedly diving or just collect all the bits and pieces out of Link to the Past and then sort of full clear Super Metroid.
yeah. And I was kind of just basically, I have a lot more experience with Super Metroid, so it's like in these kind of races, I'm kind of just banking on enough being in Super Metroid that I can just spend a bunch of time in Super Metroid and get a bunch of items to help me get through Link to the Past. And I mean, yeah, that Yeah, and then just unfortunately, this kind of wasn't the seed for that. I mean, I guess like there was some, but not, but just like, yeah, probably not enough to justify how much time I spent there early on.
When I think the way you routed it also hurt. Going through Brinstar kind of late meant that you didn't have the space jump earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, on the other hand, like I think with the speed booster and wrecked ship, like I was definitely happy to have that for the Brinstar cleanup because that because that definitely speeds that up a little bit, but which is kind of why I decided I just kind of. I mean, part of the reason I put the Brinstar cleanup off is because, like, if I get more movement items, it'll make that faster, and then ultimately, and then like part of it too is just I want to try to get items that are deeper in the logics, and so that's kind of why I like went to wreck ship early and tried to chase the suits basically as soon as I got them, and that was basically what my rationale was.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. One question we had early on is, why was your decision to head over to Sashrahala's hut as early as you did?
So, oh yeah, because early game I realized I made a mistake of not normally what I would do is I would go rush Houlihan and then I would do a south to north Kakariko clear. And then I think I've had too many seeds recently that kind of gave me early bombs, in which case I just do the normal north to south Kakariko clear. So I did the Lost Woods checks, and then I'm like, wait a second, I don't have any bombs, and I also don't have any rupees. So that's kind of why I was just like, well, I think I had enough to buy bombs. So at that point, I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna put off the Kakariko clear, and then and then I just and then I just in general I find that the play of just buying bombs kind of at that shop by Lake Hylia and then going up to Sahasrara, I mean, it's kind of a play I've kind of stolen from Solski because Solski also kind of favors that play. And sometimes you do happen to find useful items there.
Mm-hmm. I was just curious because both you and Cassidy ended up making that play, though Cassidy did actually proceed on into Eastern.
Yeah, I was kind of like debating that, and then I just ultimately decided against it, and granted, yeah, my early game routing, all of it was kind of a mess. I mean, ultimately, I wound up not having to go into Eastern at all, so I guess the gamble of just completely skipping it paid off, at least in the sense of saving me the time. But
yeah, the only thing that was in there was the screw attack. So
okay, yeah. I mean, granted, that screw attack might have pushed me to lower Norfair earlier than I wound up going there, because basically, ultimately, it was getting the charged plasma that pushed me towards lower Norfair.
mm-hmm.
And but yeah, and then the really early game mistake that I made was when I saw the power bomb pack on race game, and I was initially saying, well, I'll find a power bomb pack somewhere else maybe. And then when I didn't find, well, there was one on the library, and then there were no other ones in Kakariko, and I'm like, I still want to be able to go into Super Metroid, so I kind of backtracked for them, which wasted about a minute.
Yeah.
Because I think I forget like whether I was just low on bombs or I was just like trying to find ways to shave seconds when I knew I had already made mistakes with my earlier outing, and it wound up just backfiring. And I probably should just, like, normally I will just do a blind race game, and yeah, that didn't wind up paying off.